Welcome everybody. Today I wanted to rant on about nasal spray. I've gotten some messages from some of you about nasal spray, some questions asking what type of nasal spray did I take, what type should I avoid, and of course some of those questions should be answered by a healthcare professional, but I'm here to give you my own take about it because I can tell you I was the poster child for nasal spray. It was very difficult every time going into the doctor's office and being given nasal spray. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was given nasal spray for free. It was almost like the office was just trying to dump off all the nasal spray that no one else wanted, just to get it out of the office. I came home with bags of sample nasal spray, and I didn't understand why all of these were coming home with me. I would see an allergist. I would go see an ENT, and almost every time I left out of the office, it was like, take this little gift bag, and I would open it up, and it'd be like 10 bottles of this brand that I couldn't even pronounce. And so I would go home and I say, oh, great, I got nasal spray to use for X amount of days or months or whatever. And I can tell you right now, all it did was trigger me more. It gave me anxiety. Now, when I talk about anxiety and I talk about depression, I talk about what nasal spray did for me, it wasn't that it gave me anxiety or personally handed me the depression or the nasal spray handed me this or that. It was developing a mindset that I needed that. Now, let me get a little bit into that. If you are the type of person right now, or you used to be, hopefully you got out of that cycle, is that I had nasal spray on my person, in my pocket, or in my backpack, or in my car, the middle console somewhere, thinking that everywhere I go, I needed to carry this nasal spray, otherwise I wouldn't do so well. If I was just going into the mountains, going into work, I would run outside, oh, whew, I'm okay. My nasal spray is there. I don't need it, but my nasal spray is there. Now, that's when you're getting into this circle effect of not so good. And when you get to that point, things don't look so good really anymore. I don't want all of you to be in the dependency of nasal spray. And that's why I have such a beef with nasal spray. Now, let me just say this right here. A lot of you do need it. It's not the worst product that you can ever consume. But if we're talking about eustachian tube dysfunction, tinnitus, I have to discuss what it did to me. So then you can then make a determination if it's doing that to you. And if it's not and it's working, great. I'm happy for you, genuinely happy for you, not just saying that. I want to tell you it did not work for me. And it may not be working for a lot of you. I have to be very transparent on the things that work for me and the things that didn't work for me. And this is one of those things that absolutely did not work for me. It actually gave me more bad than good. It gave me a mental, it kind of stepped on me mentally. It started making me think that I couldn't go anywhere without this nasal spray, almost as if I needed an inhaler if I was asthmatic, and I needed my inhaler with me. And I didn't need that. I had eustachian tube dysfunction. It's a narrowing of the eustachian tubes, causing pressure buildup, fluid buildup, you name it. And I didn't need nasal spray for my particular situation. Now, every time I went into the office, I was given nasal spray. What do you need? Nasal spray. And I didn't think at the time, I was taking everything I could get. And a lot of you are in that spot right now. You're taking whatever you can get because you don't know what else you need. So you're just going to take everything. Next thing you know, you have a suitcase full of these things that you don't need. And that's where I was in that position where I had this large stockpile of things I didn't need. I had so much nasal spray that I had a nasal spray bottle in almost every room of my house. I had it in my bathroom. I had it in my kitchen drawer. I had it in my car, my backpack. And it was getting a little too much because then at that point, they'd give me so many bottles of nasal spray. When I say they, the doctor in the same office was giving me multiple bottles of nasal spray. What was happening is that I was overusing it as well. I'd be like, oh, I didn't know, when something is so stockpiled, you begin to start overusing it maybe. I wasn't using it in a dangerous manner, but it was starting to become to the point where it's like, with medication, especially nasal spray or other things, you have to be very cautious of how often you use this stuff. It's not just, even though it's not a pill, it's still something you should be very much monitoring. But it got to the point where I had this rebound effect. So basically, let me just explain a little bit what that is quickly, is that using it over time, it was not decreasing the congestion. It was actually expanding the congestion. It was actually building up more fluid. again, my problem was more structural, more problem with the alignment issues. And so it was, not only was it giving me issues nasal with my nasal passages, now it was giving me that false hope that I needed everywhere I went. And that's why I made this video today, not to sit here and bash nasal spray, but to explain to you that you may not need it if you have eustachian tube dysfunction. You may have an allergy problem. By all means, use the nasal spray. But for me, for the person that was suffering with eustachian tube dysfunction, I did not need that. It actually made my situation worse. It made me dependent. And then when they got low, I was like, I need this stuff. I got to hurry up and go either schedule an appointment or go run to Walgreens or CVS and go grab whatever one I can get my hands on, over the counter. And so that made me dependent, which then made me have anxiety, which then made me feel like I always needed it. And when you always think you need something and you don't have it, or you're running out of it, you're going to develop this anxiety. You're going to think you need to have this stuff on you everywhere you go. And if you don't have it on you right there and ready, you're going to feel like you can't do whatever it is you need to do at the time you need to do it, because you don't have what you think you need when you really don't need it. So that's why I want to make this video. I wanted to really talk about this video. My closing thing is, some of you say, well, what is your resolution? What's your end game? How do you fix this? Well, for me, it got a little bit easier. Now, again, I'm going to say disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm going to tell you what I did. I ended up getting something called it's a vapor inhaler. It's basically a stick. I brought it up a couple times on my videos. There's another brand that will actually pop right here. That brand right here really helped me as well. These are medicated. It's a medicated stick, pretty much. The good thing about it is yes, you don't want to overuse anything. The good thing about it is it didn't make me think I always needed this thing around with me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's again, I'm not a pharmacist or a medical professional, but just having a vapor inhaler stick kind of helped me think I didn't need nasal spray. Therefore, I didn't need the stick after a little bit of time. I ended up not needing that either. So if you're in this position, take a deep breath and remember, if you have ETD, you may not have the situation, and hopefully you don't get into the spiral effect of thinking you need something you do not. I hope this video was very helpful for you. If it was, take time to subscribe to the channel. I try to bring content pretty often. And in the meantime, I'm going to step out of the Jaye Wellness Studio and leave you in good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, we're here to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody.